How's it going, everybody? This is Giovanni Vidal, and I'm going to go through the EPL DFS for DraftKings and the bets that I like and that I took for tomorrow's slate, which is October 21st. We're going to try to do the DFS and the bets all in the same video. And so we'll start with the lines. As far as DFS, it's a good slate. It's a 5-game slate, and we have going down the list. Bournemouth at home taking on Wolverhampton. Bournemouth is plus 137, and Wolverhampton is plus 200 with 240 to the draw. Then we have Brentford at home taking on Burnley. Brentford is a slight favorite at minus 120, and Burnley sits at plus 320 with 275 to the draw. Moving on to Manchester City at home minus 275 against Brighton, who sits as a plus 650 dog with 450 to the draw. Newcastle at home minus 223 taking on Crystal Palace, plus 600 on Crystal Palace, which is on the road, and the draw sits at 350. Last game on the slate is Nottingham Forest at home as minus 138 against Luton Town, who comes back as plus 450 with 260 to the draw. So we'll start with the Bournemouth and Wolverhampton game. Bournemouth is at home. There's no favorite on this matchup, and a season ago, which these teams met when Bournemouth had first come up or come back to the Premier League. Bournemouth won on the road against Wolverhampton. They drew in Bournemouth 0-0, and then years and years ago, before Bournemouth got relegated, it was 1-0. You can't really take away from that. That was a completely different team on both different shape and everything for both sides. So last year's a little bit closer resemblance to what the teams have this year, with the exception of Wolverhampton missing a lot on the scoring side of things. But Bournemouth is a very improved team. The odds look correct to me with no side being a favorite. It's going to be close. Wolverhampton is coming off that high upset win. Their last game was a draw against Aston Villa, but they did have the win against Manchester City, which was a big upset. However, both those games were at home. Wolverhampton on the road, they're getting draws. They're still giving up goals. They haven't kept a clean sheet, I believe, all season, except early on the year when they took on Everton. But as far as Bournemouth goes, with the exception of the last two matches where they looked awful, got destroyed by Everton, got destroyed by Arsenal, they at least can stay somewhat competitive in matches. At home, they usually fare a lot better. They have some decent performances. At home, they drew against Chelsea. On the road, they lost to a Brighton 3-1, but most teams are giving up 2+ goals to Brighton. Draw against Brentford was on the road too, so nothing bad really you can say about Bournemouth on that front. As far as DFS goes, I have little interest in either of these sides, considering it's 5 games, and I think the other matchups or the other games have a lot more upside as far as DFS goes. I will say that for cash games, at least, I do have somewhat of an interest in just because the price is low on Pedro Neto in this matchup, the midfielder from Wolverhampton. He has a set piece shares. A season ago, when the minutes were an issue, we didn't know how long he was going to run. That's all in the past. He's he's there. Barring any kind of injury, he's there the full 90s. Again, like I said, the set shares is there. He is the catalyst on offense. Created chances, shot volumes is there for him. So I think at 6,800, which is what he sits at on DraftKings, that's a good play for cash games. He does have the floor of easily can put up 11 to 12 points without any kind of goal contribution. And then if you add the goal contribution, this could easily be a 2x price tag. I mean, a 2x DFS score on that price tag under 7,000. I do like Pedro Neto, kind of just a one-off play. I think he's good for cash games. I think he helps give you somewhat of a floor in like single entries and some GPPs, and then it's low enough on the asking price that you could take your shots on stacking pieces, which we'll get to in a minute. But other than that, for DFS, I really have little interest on either one of these sides. Jose Sa is pretty interesting in the keeper role for Wolverhampton just because his price tag is low. It's sub 5,000. So considering he is like technically his side is technically the underdog in this matchup. So 4,500. He will see some shots. He is a good keeper. He'll get some saves. If he gives up one goal, it's not going to be the end of the world. You're not getting any expected win equity or clean sheet equity out of him, but I do expect him to get to see at least at the bare minimum 4 shots. If he saves all 4, that's a good enough score at 4,500. And if he does get a clean sheet because he stops all 4, then you're going to get some serious value out of him at 4,500. Neto, I do think he's a good keeper, and he can come away with some saves or whatnot. But at that 5,000 range, I mean, Wolverhampton is finding the back of the net against comparable sides, so I think you're better off saving on the salary and going to Jose Sa for the keeper if you like any of the keepers for this matchup. As far as the bets, I do have a bet on this match, and I will say that if you look at offensively, both these sides don't really produce or a high number of corners per match, but they are in terms of protecting their net and blocking shots off to the blocking them wide and conceding corner kicks. Both these sides are in the top 5 of the most given up on a per match basis in the EPL. So we see that Bournemouth sits at around, they allow about 5.75 corners per match, and Wolverhampton allows 6.5 corners per match. So even in matches that they're heavily dominated in time of possession, these sides still are finding around 2.5 to 3.5 corners offensively. And as far as defense, they're going to stick to their guns. They consistently get concede corners to the other side. So when the time possession is split, I have this as about 11.5 corners on average in for this matchup between the two sides. And I did look at most sports books. It is a bit juiced, but I still like the price on it for 9.5 plus corners in this matchup. The best number I found was minus 140. I don't mind the 10.5 over. Like I said, I'm projecting 11.5 to be a good number. So 10.5 is fine, which is plus money is about plus 120, 125 in some books. But at minus 140, I do like the 9.5 corners, given that it's the first matchup back for these sides from the international break. So the actual bet that I took, 1 unit on over 9.5 corners at minus 140 between Bournemouth and Wolverhampton. All right, so as far as DFS, moving on quickly to the next match. The next match is one I do have interest in, and actually, no. First, we got Brentford versus Burnley. Brentford at home. As far as DFS goes, the line, I think I didn't take this bet, but at home, I do lean Brentford. I think minus 120 is a good is a good price tag for them at home if you want to take them to come away with the win. But I personally didn't take any bets in this match. For DFS, I do have interest in only in GPPs though. I do have interest in Brian Mbuemo, and the reason being is the price tag on Mbuemo. See, Mbuemo is getting enough, whether it's some indirect sets or open volume wise, he is getting the crossing volume going, and the created chances are there. They're sitting at just around 3 per match, and the shot volume it was there towards the end of last year. It's there all year this year. It's 2 plus on average, pretty consistently taking 2 shots. It's just whether he hits the net or not. That's going to be the real issue. But if he's taking the chances, I like the GPP play on him, and also the price tag. He's 8,800. He's going to be passed up in GPPs for a number of players. One of those players being Caleb Wilson from a matchup we'll talk about in a minute on the Newcastle side. They're the same price tag. Pretty much, it's 8,800 for Mbuemo, 8,700 for Caleb Wilson. Caleb Wilson is more goal dependent. Although I will say Mbuemo is not going to pay off the price tag without some kind of goal contribution. At least Mbuemo has that the created chances, so he has that assist equity, even though he hasn't found any assists this year. But as far as the goals come, you've seen him at least put up somewhat of a floor without getting a goal and without getting an assist. It's not enough to pay off the asking price, but GPPs, you're chasing the goal scoring upside. So, and Mbuemo in GPPs over Caleb Wilson, who will come in higher owned, considering Newcastle are the second highest favorite on this slate. I do like that pivot to Mbuemo, and Mbuemo also has the forward and midfield eligibility, so that gives you more room for your roster construction in on the DraftKings slate. As far as any other plays from the Brentford side, I was off from last week and I paid the price for it. Matthias Jensen, he doesn't have a floor, but he keeps contributing on the scoring. We see him, 8 matches of on average 1 goal or assist per match or per every 2 matches. So the only thing with him is the price tag, 7,500. I know he has a favorable matchup against Burnley, but 7,500. I found a lot better plays at the midfield role that I personally like, and I like the paying down for someone that we're not asking if he has the full sets or not, because he has been switching on and off with Brian Mbuemo. So yeah, Jensen can burn you with a goal contribution once again, but for me, I'm off of him in GPPs. I don't mind if you want to do a mini stack like Mbuemo and Jensen, because of their salaries. You're definitely gonna get different with them. As far as a punt, and this is obviously based off if he's gonna get the start or not, which I see some sites projecting that he will get the start in the wingback role. That's Ayer. Yeah, Christopher Ayer, the wingback. When he played last year before a slew of injuries started taking him in and out of the lineup, when he was playing, he was pretty consistent, and he did like to flow up and take some offensive chances. Get some creative chances, some open play crosses. In his short runs, very short sample size, and the minutes are obviously not always there for him. He takes his shots, but he's pretty inaccurate. So the main thing that we want to see from Ayer is on the counters, if he can get the 1 tackles, the interceptions, and at least some creative chances, or a shot, even if it hits target or not, a shot, a creative chance, and then sticking to the defensive aspects of 1 tackles, interceptions. And I think there is a good chance that Brentford can keep a clean sheet in here. So that's why I like Christopher Ayer and the price tag. He's near minimum at the wingback role on a team that's a slight favorite at home, favorable matchup. He's 2,900. Gives you a lot of salary relief for some some stacking pairs that I like from the games that we'll get to. So give me Ayer 2,900. I think he's absolutely fine in cash games. Yeah, sure, he can get a yellow card or get injured or anything like that, but you can't really project that kind of stuff. I think if he's on the pitch, he'll find his way to over 3 points. That's obviously not great but it's mainly the salary relief. If you get the clean sheet out of it, I think he's easily going to 2x the price tag, and then anything above that offensively is just above and beyond upside. But for the salary relief, for the floor, for the clean sheet equity, I like Ayer at the as a defender on DraftKings. Again, 2,900. There's way more that can go right for him than can go wrong. Now watch him get injured in the first minute or get a red card literally 5 minutes into the match. So coming back on the Burnley side, I can't get to a lot of the Burnley players because they have a rotation of the set shares is mainly Josh Brownhill, but Brownhill's price tag should still be up there. The price tag, 6,500 is not terrible, but again, I'm gonna get into I like Neto for 300 more. I think he has a better matchup and a more defined role with Wolverhampton, and I do like someone else in one of the later games who's a little bit cheaper than Josh Brownhill, but GPP's Brownhill, I still can't get to him there. He doesn't have enough shot volume. He does have creative chances, but his volume and his creative chances is not translating at the moment to goals or assists for his side. And I do think Brentford is a very solid team, especially at home. They're tough to break through. So even his floor to me is not high enough. So I can't get to Josh Brownhill. For that same price tag of 6,500, if you want absolute leverage, just because I think his ownership, I would project it to be under 5%, is Lyle Foster. Foster did miss a match with some kind of suspension or whatnot that he was serving, but he is contributing. It seems like almost every game he's either getting an assist, getting a goal. His shot volume is there. It's not there. It's just under 2 per match. So that's not something you want to see out of someone you're paying 6,500. But he's extremely accurate. So he is goal or bust. So definitely not a cash play, but GPP one-off. He could definitely produce a leverage again. That would be if you're MMEing or are running like a 20 max. You can get like 1 or 2 shares of Lyle Foster, and that would be absolute leverage. Considering I think that Starkosha, the keeper from Brentford, is going to be fairly high owned, and Brentford is the home slight favorite. So I think it's going to keep people off the Burnley attack. All right, moving on to and as far as I do not have any bets on this match. All right, so as far as moving down the line, we have the Manchester City Brighton match, and I do have a lot in this match. Manchester City is the biggest favorite, though they're not a Manchester City what we've expected to kind of favorite. I think that's coming off of their recent performances, which were not great, and the success that Brighton has. I mean, Brighton is not necessarily translating into wins, but they put up goals in bunches. There is a world where this game just ends up in a tie, and I wouldn't be opposed to betting the draw. I also think there's value in considering it's plus money, the over 3.5 goals, but those aren't the bets I've gone with for this match. For this match, I've gone with as far as betting. I do like like I said, I do over 2.5 is already juiced. It's like over minus 200. I do think this match does hit the over 3.5 goals, and I do think that Manchester City will will come off and or come out strong at home and not leave this game to one of those those trying to win it right at the end match. I think they need to like start like Pep will have them ready to score early and often. So for this match, I do like and it depends on the and you can wait on this because these lines are not going to change. They never do even when you have the confirmed lineups come out. So I'd probably wait for the confirmed lineups on this match. I just took I like Phil Foden, which he's not projected to start, but anytime you see the projected lineup for Manchester City, you know that's there's a great chance that that's not going to be the accurate projected lineup. But I do like Phil Foden to either get a goal or an assist. That's either or, and it's minus 110 is the best number that I found it at. So I do like that one, and as far as DFS, I also like Foden at the 8,100 price tag. You know, he's forward and midfield eligible, and he is he is getting the created chances for his side. You know, he's averaging just under or slightly over 2 per match, and he is taking some chances when they're available for him. So you know, he in eight matches he's only seen a goal contribution in 4 of those, but it's 50%. I think Brighton's defense is god awful. I'd be surprised if they don't if they allow less than 2 goals in this matchup. So I do like Manchester City to find the back of the net at least 2 times in this match. Foden is not opposed to setting up his teammates. He's got the created chances. He's got the assists to back that. He is very accurate with his shot, even though he's averaging only about 2 shots per match. He is accurate with them. So give me either a goal or an assist. And also there's the other metrics that he produces for DFS purposes. He's got a drawn foul rate of over 2 per match. He's got the crossing volume, whether it's indirect sets, which he does handle some indirect sets, or the open play work. He'll cross it up to the big target in Erling Haaland up front. 8,100 I think is too cheap. Brighton's defense, or Brighton doesn't have a defense, so I think for the heavy favorites, Manchester City, you're definitely going to want some pieces of them. 2-3 man stacks I think are absolutely fine because Newcastle's on the slate, and they're also a favorite in a perceived better matchup or against a weaker side in Crystal Palace. But I think Crystal Palace's defense is actually way better than Brighton's defense. So give me Manchester City. I think that that you can definitely go heavier on the Manchester City stack than the Newcastle stack, and despite Manchester City being a heavier favorite, I don't think it's going to be too chalky. I think it's going to be evenly split throughout any kind of contest that you enter. But Foden for Manchester City is definitely a core play for me. Anything single entry cash games, and like I said, I did bet him half a unit to get the a goal or an assist in this matchup. If Foden, like I said, with the bet, you can wait until you see the confirmed lineups. If Foden is out of the lineup and Alvarez is in, I would just take the bet on Alvarez for a goal or an assist. Minus 135. That's it's actually not the worst line. It is a little bit juiced, but it's not the worst line. I've seen books at the moment. I see books that have also like minus 150 on it, minus 155. So minus 135 it is on DK Sportsbook. I do like that bet. I don't think it's going to move. I think you're fine waiting, or you can just take both. If both play, you know it's very real that they can goal and assist to each other, goal and assist, even being on the same pitch. You know, the Manchester City is very likes to spread it out, and at the end of the day, they all just spread it out and try to feed Erling Haaland. So as I do like both those bets. I'm just probably gonna wait until I see which one is starting and just bet on the other one. If the other one's not starting, the the bet will get voided anyway, so it's not a big issue. All right, so as far as the DFS, like I said, I do like Foden. If Julian Alvarez starts over him, if Foden and Alvarez both start, I prefer Foden just because of the price tag. He's significantly cheaper. Alvarez is at 9,000. If Foden is out and Alvarez is in, I will take Alvarez. I'll find the money to pay up for Alvarez at 9,000. Even if it costs me Erling Haaland at 9,800. I know I just said that I expect Manchester City to score a lot in this, and I do. And Haaland is definitely their leading scorer. He scores for fun. A brace is never surprising when he does score 2+ goals. But if I can fit both of them, I will sacrifice Erling Haaland for Julian Alvarez. But GPP wise, even in cash games, I think if you punted with Newcastle, you can definitely find the room for Erling Haaland and Julian Alvarez. In the midfield, I do like taking a shot on Rodri. I know Rodri tends to foul a lot, or averaging almost 2.5 fouls per match. He's always a liability to get carded. But the one thing with Rodri is when they're pushing up, he will shoot from any range, and he is if not for an accurate shooter, he is a high volume shooter. As soon as that ball comes out, he'll just fire away. So given that, I did take a bet on Rodri to have a shot on target. It's a -110, and Rodri to get an anytime goal, because the shot volume is there. He has enough accuracy to at least get 1 or 2 shots on target. I think if he does that, if he gets 1 or 2 shots on target, he's definitely live to find the back of the net. I know he's only played 6 games and found 2 goals. I mean, the price tag is built into it. Him for an anytime goal is at plus 950. So I'm going to put a quarter unit on that. Or I already did put a quarter unit on that. But I do like Rodri, and then a half a unit on him to get a shot on target at -110. I think that's a line we've seen at like -130, -150, and like I think it's -110 because the respect that the market gives to Brighton, and because of how they're performing in the table. But make no mistake about it, their performance in the table is strictly because of their offense. Their defense is non-existent. So give me the Foden or Alvarez, whichever one starts to get a shot on target. Give me Rodri to get a shot on target. Sorry, not the shot on target on Alvarez or Foden. The goal or an assist for Alvarez or Foden, whichever one starts, and then give me Rodri to have a shot on target at -110. Both of those at a half a unit, and then a quarter unit on Rodri to find the back of the net plus 950. And then as far as DFS, I do like Rodri. He's at $6,000 on DraftKings. I think he's a fine piece. More times than not, you'll see Bernardo Silva get stacked with in the Manchester City. Like when you go heavy stacking, just because his price tag is usually favorable at 7,000. I don't think Jeremy Doku is going to be playing. I think it's Jack Grealish to get in there. Jack Grealish does have crossing volume, but 7,800. For someone who's goal or assist dependent, I'd rather pay down for Rodri over Jack Grealish or Bernardo Silva. Yeah, they can score, but they're scoring at the same rate as Rodri, and at least Rodri is shooting from wherever. He's not trying to pick his perfect moment. He'll just fire it away. So for an over $1,000 savings, give me Rodri. In a stacking piece, he's fine to stack, in my opinion, with Alvarez or Foden, one of the other, and Haaland. I don't think you should go Alvarez and Foden and avoid Haaland. I think that's getting too cute, and I don't think you have to get there because Manchester City is not a gigantic favorite. As far as the Brighton side, Pascal Gross, just because of the floor that he has with the set piece monopoly that he gets. He's obviously no longer in the on the penalties. That's João Pedro. That's on the penalties, and João Pedro is fine. Like I said, in GPPs, 7,900. He's gonna come in at like sub 5% owned. So you want to take a shot with him for goal hunting. You are gonna need a goal and a number of shots to pay off the asking price. One goal is not gonna do it, only for João Pedro. So that's why I said like maybe GPP play. Pascal Gross, I think, is fine. 8,400. He's not going to draw as much ownership. There is going to be plenty of options for high floor and low salary to have you spend up on Manchester City and Newcastle stacking pieces. So Gross in GPPs can definitely make a difference. He's got the floor. It's just I think at 8,400 you still need some kind of goal or assist equity out of him, and I don't see it. GPPs is fine, but for me, I'm going to personally be off of him just because I don't see it. I do think Foden at 8,100 is a far better play considering the home matchup. The odds say so, and Gross has a higher floor in terms of because of the set shares, but Foden has a more dominant team, and Foden has the higher equity, in my opinion, of getting a goal or an assist. All right, so moving on, Newcastle versus Crystal Palace, and this is interesting only because Newcastle is a heavy favorite, but they're for the most part their players and their attackers are not priced to being like the second highest favorite on the slate. You know, we've got Mbeumo on a team that's virtually a pick'em at home, being far greater price than two of the attackers on the Newcastle side, and those two attackers are Anthony Gordon and Miguel Almiron. Yes, Caleb Wilson, like I mentioned earlier, is the same price as Mbeumo, and for that I do lean to Mbeumo as a better play than Caleb Wilson, and personally I'm off of Wilson in general. I think Crystal Palace has an underrated defense. Yeah, Wilson can score, but Wilson needs more than just a goal. Similar to João Pedro from that Brighton side taking on Manchester City, where his price tag, he needs more than a goal. 2 assists won't do it. He needs a goal. He needs drawn fouls. He needs, I would say, about 3 to 4 shots, regardless of whether they're on target or not. And I only have him projected for 2 shots in total on this match, actually 2.25 shots, and one of them on target. So for me, I do like getting to the Newcastle pieces, but I prefer Anthony Gordon or Miguel Almiron. Miguel Almiron hasn't had a great season. He has he has absolutely no floor. He needs a goal to even to pay off the price tag, but 6,700, at least in recent form, after a rough start. First 2 matches were fine. Then he had a rough spell where he couldn't stay on the pitch long enough. But recent form, at least he's getting the minutes, and he is taking some shots. The shot volume is there. So against Crystal Palace at home, I think that they'll concentrate a lot on keeping Wilson, keeping an eye on Wilson, keeping an eye on Gordon, and leave Almiron sometimes a bit unattended. So he'll get his chances to get the shots off, and you just need one to find the back of the net, and Almiron will pay off that asking price. So I think he's fine also in cash, considering the heavy favorite. He's going to draw the ownership. He's the cheapest attacker on a heavy favorite. So cash games, I do think he's going to draw the ownership. I don't mind him in cash. GPPs, I'm fine with him. Again, you're looking for the goal upside because he has no floor. He does draw some fouls. Last year he was better with the created chances. This year he hasn't been getting it done on the created chance department. But the drawn fouls, I think his form will return. He's still young. He's figuring it out. He has some injuries that were keeping him in a couple of games ago, but he looks to be finding his form again, at least from the last 3 matches that he played. So Almiron I think is a good stacking piece for Newcastle. Of course, you're talking about Newcastle, you can't forget to mention Kyrie and Trippier. Set piece monopolies. I know there were some questions or some other members standing over him, like Sandro Tonoli, over the set shares and whether Trippier was taking fully them or not. Sandro Tonoli is not in the lineup, so he's had some personal issues with the gambling and stuff, so he's definitely not in the lineup. Trippier is back to all the set pieces. His price tag is high, 7,900, but Trippier seems to be matchup proof. He can do anything on defense, and then when he's on offense, he has the crossing volume. He open play, set shares. No matter what, he's going to keep airing out those crosses, and he's very accurate with them. He can get the created chances going. His created chances is slightly under 5 per match on average. His crossing volume sits at slightly under 10 per match on average. And he does get drawn fouls. Defensively, like I said, he's got a just over 2 per match on average. 1 tackles interception rate. The assists are there. He doesn't find the back of the net. Doesn't even take that many shots, but created chances, the crossing volume, the drawn foul rates, and his defensive metrics alone are enough for his floor to be just over 1.75 per match. I think he easily can get to 18, 19 points. And if he does find a goal contribution in this matchup, or Newcastle concede early and Crystal Palace sits back and just let him keep winging in crossing volume, easily see him put up north of 20 points. 7,500 is a high price tag, but I'm fine with that price tag. Again, if you punt like Christopher Ayer from Brentford, who's 2,900, it will help balance out that defensive slot and fit in Kieran Trippier, who I think is gonna come in and put on a showing like he normally does. So 7,500 cash game, single entries, GPPs, anything. His ownership is going to be probably 55-60% easily. I'm fine with that. I'll eat that chalk with Trippier. As far as the other piece, Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon, I think he does need a goal contribution because he's 7,300, but he does have a floor where he's not completely destroying your lineup if he doesn't find a goal contribution. He has shot volumes averaging just over 2 per match. He's pretty accurate on target rate of over around 50% on target rate. He's got the created chances. The drawn fouls are there about 2.8 per match on average. He tracks back on defense and gets some. He can win tackles. He can get interceptions, and he does have the nice balance of goal and assist between the year split. 7 games, 4 split between goals and assists. So the upside is there. 7,300 is a solid price tag considering the favorites. I think that's a little bit low for Gordon. I wouldn't worry about the minutes. Harvey Barnes is injured. Sandro Tonoli is out too. So I think unless this game gets out of hand, Gordon will be there to at least the 80, if not 90-minute mark. He has enough metrics without the scoring to still get you to a solid floor of around 8-9 in a favorable matchup. So Anthony Gordon for me is a solid play. In cash he's fine. Maybe you trade him off for a Manchester City guy, but him and Trippier in particular I like for like a cash pairing of the Newcastle side, which you can mix in with the Manchester City side if you want. Single entries, I think they're both fine. GPPs, I think you can mix Trippier and Gordon or Trippier and Almiron. Trippier and Wilson if you're doing a build that you're getting away from the heavy price on the Manchester City guys. But I do like those members of Newcastle. From the Crystal Palace side, Etsy is out. Eberechi Etsy is out. Alessi, I'm pretty sure he's not even on the team anymore. I know he really is, but My only thing, I believe Jordan Ayew is going to be taking the indirect sets. My only thing with Ayew is his price tag is still high. Newcastle is a very dominant side, and Crystal Palace is out. Some of their creative players, they're players that can help draw fouls, players that can help them transition from the defense to the midfield and get these guys open. Ayu's not that guy yet. He'll have the set shares, but how many corners and set shares, how many corners and set pieces are they actually going to draw with two of their best players completely out on this matchup? For that reason, I know Ayu can draw fouls and everything, but 8,200, I'm going to be off just because I don't see the upside, like from a goal contribution upside for him. I know he has the floor, but 8,200, we're going to get into a matchup where I think there's a lot better floor plays with higher upside than the Crystal Palace side. And that matchup is the Nottingham Forest versus Luton side. And I think as far as bets, yeah, okay, I have one more bet, and that's in this matchup. All right, so Nottingham Forest at home against Luton Town. Both sides, I like their pace. They both are explosive on offense. Nottingham Forest is the favorite. I think that line is wrong, honestly. Minus like 135 or whatever it is. I think that's going to close at around minus 125, minus 120. I think Luton is Nottingham is being given that because they're a home side, but Luton is very sneaky side that seems to always score and put up a fight. They're not scared to push the pace. And my only thing with Luton, because we'll start on the Luton side, my only thing with them is I think there's going to be an issue with the indirect set shares because I see some lineups that project Brian Giles to be back, and that's going to be an issue for Alfie Doughty, who was handling the set shares, and Doughty has an extremely high floor with Giles out. But as it stands now, Doughty is priced as if Giles is out. He's 7,100, and if Giles is out, I still don't mind that price tag. But if Giles is in, I would pivot to Giles, who's 6,100, and will handle the set shares. Maybe they do a split where Doughty takes some of them on the on his side of the pitch, should he line up on the opposite side. But Giles still has that choice of the set shares are his until he defers them away. And against far better sides like Brighton, Chelsea, West Ham, you see Giles putting up about 10 to 11 crosses per match. Now, it wasn't because they were drawing so many indirect sets. It's because Giles in open play will fire away that crossing on trying to hit Morris in the front, who has a really good vertical to get some headers off. But that's a different topic. The point is Giles has the crossing volume, and as far as defense, he can play defense. He usually plays as like a wingback role. Well, he is a wingback, but he sits for DraftKings purposes as a midfield. He can get one tackles, interceptions, and there's the created chances. So in a matchup where I don't think they're going to be overpowered, I mean, you've seen them play teams that should overpower them, and they're still pushing it up on offense, still trying to take their chances at the back of the net. And Giles was the catalyst. Now, if Giles is out of the lineup, I love Doughty, despite having his price tag raised. Not sure if I can get to him. I know he's going to have the ownership. I think he's a great play. 7,100. I'm not sure if I can fit him in, but if the point is, if Giles is in, I will pivot to Giles. If Giles is out, Doughty's absolutely fine play because he'll start taking all the set shares like he has been when Giles was out of the lineup and when Giles was not in the starting lineup, coming in later on. As far as that striker that I mentioned earlier, Carlton Morris, I do not mind taking shots on Carlton Morris. 5,800. He's got the shot volume. He does draw fouls at a solid rate. solid rate in more comparable teams to Nottingham Forest. The big thing with me with Carl Morris is he is live for getting carded because he has a pretty high committed fouls rate. He's sitting at over 2 committed fouls per match. But like I said, the shot volume definitely is there. Seeing 3+ in consistent matches in a number of matches, actually. I think it was like 4 of the last 6 or 5 out of the last 4 out of the last 7. Sorry, 5 out of the last 7. He's seeing 3+ shots. Not always translating to finding the back of the net, but he does handle the penalties. Very active striker. 5,800. I think you can get away with his shot volume if he fails to find the back of the net. But if he does score, that's an easy 2x price tag, even if he keeps fouling people. He's a very aggressive striker. But Carl Morris in GPPs, even if you want to take some shots on him, I think in cash games that's too cute. I don't think you need to get that low in cash games. I think you're fine with punting with like an Ayer, or the prices are soft enough on Manchester City and Newcastle players that you don't have to get that cute on cash games. But GPP, I do like taking some shots on Carlton Morris for the Luton side. All right, so moving on to the home side, the Nottingham Forest side, who is the favorite. So Morgan Gibbs White will get ownership. Morgan Gibbs White is 8,500, and he has the floor to pay off. No, he has the floor to, he has the floor to pay off this price tag. He's in teams comparable to we had to take away like the matches against Manchester City, against Brentford, against Chelsea and stuff, which he didn't do terrible in, but they're completely different animals than what Luton is. Luton, they like to push up the offense, but they're susceptible on the counters. So, and Gibbs White is a specialist on making people pay on the counters. So, Gibbs White definitely has the crossing volume, slightly under 10 per match on average, in comparable sides to that of Luton Town, and he's got the created chance rate, 2 to 3 per match, and again in the same kind of format. So we're throwing out those matches against Brentford, those matches against like Manchester City, against Chelsea. And I think they had another strong one, but he had a good game. But it was a team. Oh no, it was Manchester United. No, they suck. No, scratch that. The only thing is the goal upside. He hasn't found the back of the net, and it's not for a lack of trying. I mean, he's putting up. He's got multiple games of 2+ shots. He just the accuracy hasn't been there. But if the chances are there, you got to throw the accuracy part out the window, because the chances are there. His confidence is not lacking. He will keep taking those shots, and if he can't find a shot he likes, he's not opposed to passing it off. So I think he's due. Everybody's always due eventually, but he has the floor. He definitely has the upside with his shots, his created chances. He has the upside to find a goal or get an assist in this matchup. So I do like Morgan Gibbs White, 8,500. I know that more people will pivot to Phil Foden in that kind of situation. More people will be pivoting to either a Gordon for far cheaper, or a Miguel Almiron for far cheaper, or Jack Grealish or Bernardo Silva. So, but Gibbs White has a far greater floor than both or than all those that I mentioned, with the exception of Foden. I think their floors are about the same, and their upside, I would even still give the lean on upside to Phil Foden. But the floor is definitely even. So all that to say, I do like Gibbs White. If I can fit him in, I'll definitely have some shares of him. As far as goal hunting, Caleb Hudson-Odoi, should he get the start? He hasn't, with the exception of his first game with the team, in which he came off the bench. Or did he come off? I believe he came off the bench. His other two matches, which he's seeing a decent amount of minutes in, hasn't found shots. Kind of lackluster performances, but he's got the speed. He is a counter puncher, and this is a matchup that will favor his skill set. I do like him to get a shot on target. I did bet that half a unit -120 for Hudson-Odoi to get a shot on target. If he doesn't start, it's gonna be voided. No big deal. But DFS wise, I can't get to him. I want to, and I think you should if you're running a 20 max or running an MME. 7,900 for that. Pay a little bit more for Phil Foden. Pay the same for Jack Grealish, even though he does. Hudson-Odoi is more willing to shoot than Jack Grealish. Pay less for Anthony Gordon. There's just too at that price range. There's too many more spots that I like and I feel safer with. So I don't mind Hudson-Odoi. I did bet him to get a shot on target. I cannot get to him in DFS. I think it's tough. You can, if I do think he's a viable stacking piece with Morgan Gibbs-White. Also, is Owonji playing? I don't even look up front for them. Yeah, no, he's not. He's out. So Chris Wood is in. Chris Wood will draw ownership because he's probably free. Yeah, 3,600. He's free. He's gonna draw the ownership. Owonji is out. I don't think Chris Wood is gonna stay in this match long enough to even pay off the 3,600. He's not gonna hurt you at 3,600. He doesn't get the minutes. Maybe he draws a foul. Maybe he gets one shot. I doubt he's handling the set shares. I believe it's with Owonji out, it's going to be Gibbs-White. So makes me like Gibbs-White more. I'm going to pass on Chris Wood. I know he's free. I know he's going to draw ownership. He's going to find himself into cash game lines for people because 3,600 again. I can't do it. I definitely can see him scoring 1 point or no points. I know it's not going to hurt the lineup because of the price tag, but I'd rather go hunting. And for me, it's if I'm going to punt under around the 3,000 range, I'm going to go with Ayer. I think the prices are soft, like I said, for everybody else that I mentioned and that I like. So for me, give me Ayer. Stacking pieces in GPP, like I said, Gibbs-White, Owonji. No, not Owonji because he's injured. Gibbs-White, Hudson-Odoi. If Dominguez comes in, I don't know what his was Nico Dominguez 5,100. I don't know. Stacking pieces in GPPs, you could do worse. He's not going to draw ownership, so you could do worse. He is the midfielder that's going to be attacking and pushing up with the side. So he at least in his first couple of runs, he's not shy to shoot. So I don't mind him. But other than that, to end it off, my favorite stacks, Manchester City. That's not a surprise. Well, it's a surprise for me because I'm usually talking people off of Manchester City or betting against them on the spread and whatnot. But Manchester City, then Newcastle. So I'm pretty chalk, but I think pairing them instead of a full-blown onslaught, stacking them will get you different enough. And I'm off of Caleb Wilson, so I think I'm getting a little bit different on that end of it. But other than that, favorite keeper, no favorite keeper for me, but I do like Starkusha if you're going to pay up. If you're not going to pay up, I think Johnson from Crystal Palace, because I do like Newcastle to win. I do think they're going to find a goal. I don't think they're going to completely blow out Crystal Palace. I can see them winning 1 or 2-0, but Johnston's going to see 6-7 shots on target. So 3,800 for if you need salary relief. If you want to go full blown Caleb Wilson, not Caleb Wilson, that's completely contrarian play. But If you want to do it, go ahead. But if you want to go like Erling Haaland, Phil Foden, Trippier, and then like in full goal hunting like in Buemo and stuff like that, you're hell bent on getting them in your lineups, and you need a punt, double punt like an Azure, and then a punt at the keeper. Johnson, I think, has definitely the highest upside. As far as a cash game where you get balanced keeper, like I mentioned earlier, Jose Sa, I think is the way to go for a more balanced, no ups, not necessarily so much upside, no win equity, but can pay off the asking price. And if he does get to keep a clean sheet, he could 2x his asking price. All right, so that does it for me. Good luck with your bets. Well, to recap real quick, the bets that I have: Foden or Alvarez, whichever one starts, to get a goal or an assist. That's half a unit. Rodri from Manchester City to get a shot on target, half a unit, minus 110. Quarter unit, anytime goal, plus 950. Half a unit on Hudson-Odoi from Nottingham Forest, minus 120 to get a shot on target, half a unit. 1 unit, Bournemouth and Wolverhampton, over 9.5 corners. That's minus 140, best line that I found. That's the one I took for 1 unit. So best of luck if any bets you do. If you tail mine, let's ride together. If you don't, or if you like any other bets that you have, best of luck on the ones you take. DFS, good luck on your contests. And sorry the video was long. Try to get both of them out. But I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. You can like, subscribe. That'll help me out a great deal. So thank you guys.